The past 7 or 8 years, most of his fights have been against relatively big names for big circumstances, and there is some bad blood being exhibited already in the ring where the Barkley and Toney people came together before the opening introductions. All right, let's take a look at the tail of the tape real fast. Oh, first we'll take a look at tail of the tape. I ran Barkley against James Toney. And keep in mind, as you look at these numbers, the rumors, and I characterize them as rumors, that Barkley had a great deal of difficulty making weight. He showed up late for the weigh-in, said that his apartment here in Las Vegas had been broken into. He's got a 3-inch height advantage, but again, Toney stands up relatively straight in the ring. Barkley is the one who crouches.
A point has to be made about the weight. Toney is a big middleweight. Barkley is really a light heavyweight. He is very, very strong at this weight.
Punch stat numbers, Larry.
And here a look at some of the punch stat numbers to get an idea of how active these fighters are, and you can see what Barkley's fight plan is: to come out throwing a lot of leather and never stop. And the jab is primarily an afterthought, but both of them can jab effectively when they're moved to.
Rules of the bout with Harold Letterman. Harold?
I ran Barkley and James Toney will fight tonight using the rules of the International Boxing Federation. 12 rounds. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. And in case of an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 6 rounds have been completed. Before that, it's a technical draw. Jim.
All right, Harold, right now, let's go up to our ring announcer, Michael Buff, for a pre-fight introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, presents the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission and the International Boxing Federation. The officials for the state of Nevada: Chairman, Dr. Elias Ghanem; Commissioners, Nat Carasali, Bruce Lane, Luther Mack, and Dr. James Nave. Chief Inspector, Mark Ratner. IBF Supervisor at ringside, Al Goodman. Physicians in attendance, Dr. Flip Omansky, Dr. James Wishgame, and Dr. Robert Boy. The timekeeper, Al Bisick. Counting for the knockdown seconds, Jane Broadfoot. The 3 judges assigned at ringside, scoring the bout on a 10-point must system, will be Chuck Giampa, Jerry Roth, and Mike Liana. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, working in a world championship bout for the 98th time, referee Richard Steele. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the site where legends are made, Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with gold trim and weighing in at an even 167 pounds. Fighting out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, he brings a professional record, undefeated, 33-0, 2 draws, 22 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the challenger, the IBF Middleweight Champion of the World, James Lights Out Toney. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim and weighing an even 168 pounds. His professional record, 30 victories, 18 KOs, 7 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, from the streets of the South Bronx in New York City, presenting the 3-time world champion and current IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World, I run the Blade, Barkley.
Listen to the crowd, man.
Okay, I spoke to both of your fighters in the dressing room. I'm cautioning you now, obey my commands at all times. Shake hands and good luck.
Jim, I see this fight as an athlete, Toney, who was a high school quarterback, against a warrior, Barkley, in what may just turn out to be a warrior's game. we'll see whether Toney can maintain his poise in the face of what is expected to be a fierce pass rush.
Tight defense. Hands up.
I think the most important man tonight is Richard Steele. They couldn't have picked a stronger referee.
You like Richard Steele?
For this fight, take somebody strong and willing.
Barkley comes out with an apparent urge to overwhelm Toney from the beginning, and Toney catches him inside with counter lefts and rights. Barkley trying to go to the body, Toney coming right up the middle, and James Toney is giving better than he's getting.
Toney is getting in good uppercuts right now, left uppercuts. But he shouldn't throw too many of them the first round.
Well, already you've seen Toney's superior technicianship. Iran came in winging wide, as he loves to do, and Toney stepped right up the middle to take advantage.
Toney should keep this as skillful as he can. Barkley is not a skillful fighter, he's a puncher. Why wait in and play that game?
Yeah, but now we're into stage 2. Toney, who's often accused of not fighting the full minutes, of the full 3 minutes of every round, begins to stand against the ropes and relax and allow Barkley to wail away at it.
And Barkley has been caught with some effective shots that in the body that could have some telling points as the fight goes along.
Barkley will keep going to the body. He's not the kind of guy who forgets to do it. Toney scores with an uppercut inside. But the longer James stands still on the ropes, the more he plays Barkley's game.
I think if he stands on the rope and not try to push this guy, he can be a lot more effective than trying to push him out. Just hit him because he's not quick. He's only powerful. Good body punch, a good left hook to the side, and Barkley is starting to show a little blood.
That's right. There's blood under Iran's left eye. Barkley has a history as a bleeder, and right now, Toney is whacking away with tremendous effect in the middle of the ring. And Toney just walks away and rests for a second, and Iran Barkley comes storming back at it.
He walked away because he said earlier, you're going to see some blood quick. He has seen blood. Now he's happy.
Couldn't ask for a more entertaining first 2 minutes of the fight. It was everything the experts expected it to be.
For the first time in Toney's career, about fighting only a few minutes every round should be right for him this time. He shouldn't exalt himself.
Toney looks very relaxed and very confident early on in his first bout against a really high-skilled, accomplished 168-pound fighter. There's a good right uppercut inside that brings the crowd alive.
Barkley has been hit before by some of the best punchers in the world. He's gotten up, so you don't get carried away. Once you hit him, you just keep it set up in that fashion.
Iran Barkley's the only man on the planet who has beaten Tommy Hearns twice. Nobody else can claim that.
This fight is early on to put a lot of hurt on Barkley, because if Barkley is still there in the second half of the fight, he's going to come on with his strength.
He said earlier he was going to hit this guy in the side, and Barkley is starting to land punches around the side. But it seems that Toney's left jab is the best thing he's got tonight.
Well, you already saw the punch stat numbers that indicated a great first round for James Toney. And beyond those numbers, he doubled Barkley in power shots, 33-17.
I think Toney is going to have to settle in and realize I can outbox this guy. It's real easy. Jab him and stop worrying about taking him out. If he makes that decision, it can be an easier fight for him. But if he doesn't, he's going to get rocked and rolled tonight.
And incidentally, the blood was from Barkley's nose, not from above his eye.
And I don't think Toney liked that. Got a little overconfident because he thought the blood was coming up.
Good chopping left-hand counter inside by Toney. He has great counter-punching ability, and against a guy like Barkley, that will afford him a lot of opportunities. Oh, right hand on the shoulder of Toney seemed to stun him for a second. Both fighters landing to the body.
It's going to take 2 or 3 rounds before Toney realized I'd better respect this big man's power.
Barkley just missing with the right cross. It skimmed across the side of Toney's head.
When you're 160 pounds, those right hands that you turn don't hurt that much. When you're up at 68, those right hands numb your legs.
Good uppercut inside by Toney. You heard Bill Miller, Toney's trainer, telling him that Barkley was a sucker for an uppercut, and Toney lands another one in there.
Punch to get out.
But those uppercuts got to be followed by something around the side, some body punches, chest and to the side, because this guy is regularly about 200 pounds. He's accustomed to taking big shots like that.
Punch to get out.
Some bigger guys.
Step back.
Toney landing with the jab. Barkley just steps past it to come inside. Toney's quicker hands still a factor, particularly every time they step away from the ropes and into the middle of the ring. Barkley landing a left hook to the top of Toney's head.
Toney is really getting good with his left jab at this point. He's standing right on the ball of his feet, jabbing and not jumping backwards. When you see a fighter do that,
we saw on the replay, at best, it appeared to hit Toney on the shoulder, but it also appeared to stun him for a second. And Barkley, George, is a guy who wants to hit you anywhere he can make contact.
Right. Now, Toney has sold all the whoop tickets about how he's going to knock him out. Now he should be contented with just winning every round. Let the knockout come by itself. Don't try to create it. Barkley should try and make this fight as wild as he can and stop standing back with his left jab. Just get in there and wade in there.
It was the left shoulder where Toney was hit, but he's using the left hand liberally. So it does not appear that there was any injury which should affect him in the bout. Toney again scoring a right uppercut inside. Barkley continues to bang away to the liver and kidneys, trying to slow Toney down to create some opportunities later on in the fight.
I think Barkley coming in with his mean demeanor and how tough he is. Now he should settle down, but he's going to think the crowd is going to say, you can't do it, you're scared. So he puts himself in a corner that he shouldn't be in at this point. With his longer reach, he should have been ahead on points.
Another uppercut lands inside. Most effective punch of the bout for Toney by a wide margin. Toney walking away. Barkley steps in and whacks with the left hook. And we've got a fairly steady flow of blood now coming out of both of Iran Barkley's nostrils.
Come on, let's work.
Toney is not content because he wanted him to be busted in the eyes at this point. Good right hand by Barkley.
Good left hook inside by Toney. Right hand by Toney. Right hand by Barkley. They are trading shots.
Those exchanges do not help Toney.
There's a solid right cross by Toney, but it didn't seem to stun Iran Barkley. And one thing we know about Barkley, he can take a punch.
Very smart. Toney landed his shots and moved out of the way.
And the mouthpiece is knocked completely out of Barkley's mouth by the fabulous right cross from Toney. And here comes Iran stepping in without his mouthpiece, showing his courage and his resiliency.
Toney is starting to get real accurate. He's throwing that right hand right down like threading a needle.
Go to corner. Go. Stand.
And now Richard Steele will give Barkley a chance to replace the mouthpiece.
Let's go. Let's go.
Iran Barkley does take a punch, as you say, Jim, but it's not a virtue to take this many hard, clean punches.
And you know something? Iran Barkley's eyesight is real bad at this point. He doesn't even know where Toney is unless he's bumping bodies with him.
And let's remember, he once had a detached retina in his left eye.
He's had 2 detached retina surgeries in the left eye. There's a solid left hook by Toney. Barkley comes back with a left to the body.
If
more Barkley stuff to the body. I'm sorry, George.
If Toney would only back away, he can see that this guy can't see him.